Hi and welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with
Dan.
Chris.
Sean.
We're back.
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah, very sorry about missing last week, but it is really a bad strain of flu that's hit the Isle of Man at the minute.
Yeah, schools have been closed.
The hospitals have been evacuated.
Yes,
Yeah,
well,
people are too sick to go
wards
to hospital.
Yeah.
Bless you.
I was about to say Dan was the only person that didn't get it just as he sneezed.
And you have condemned him.
Yeah, Lee can't be with us tonight because he's got band stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sean, for filling in. I know it is your birthday, but
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
many
Thank
happy
you.
returns. I podcasted on my birthday last year, so. Right, is it worth talking about the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which was a bit dull and also well over a week ago?
I was going to
I
say,
can't
who can
remember what
remember it?
It wasn't dull. There was some good stuff going on. The best part of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was when the DRS didn't work and drivers had to think of other ways to get past people.
Like
There was some
outbreaking.
good overtakes, and then everyone's been on Twitter, all of the drivers saying that not having DRS showed how much they needed DRS.
The drivers have said that,
Yeah.
but they were able to overtake each other.
Yeah.
Eventually, just not straight away. It's like, oh, I've got a faster car on paper, so I should be in front of you. Doesn't matter about your skill.
Yeah, I mean, you look at, someone like Bottas who carved his way through the field. He was doing he probably would have done better with DRS, admittedly, but my problem with DRS is that that's where you pass. You then pass under DRS. But
Yeah.
when you don't have DRS for any part of the lap, you then have to think of, it's down to the driver to think of where they're going to pass.
Yeah. DRS is a bodge to solve a problem that was a real problem if you were watching, 10 years or so ago when there were races where there would literally be one overtake.
Yeah.
Everything
And
was done in the pit
Everything
lane.
was done in the pits. And DRS really helped with that. But the thing that's going to solve the problem is aero changes. And they've done a load of aero changes. And now...
For 2021.
Well,
There's
But-
new aero for this season.
yeah.
Yeah.
There have been aero changes in between DRS being introduced and now. And I think what the start of the Abu Dhabi race showed was we might not need DRS anymore. And yeah, overtaking isn't a piece of piss. You got to work for it. But I think that's what we want, really, isn't it? To see people actually applying skill rather than
Yeah.
pressing the overtake button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That's exactly what I want to see.
And these are. I'm gonna throw an allegedly in this. Allegedly, the 20 best racing drivers in the world. They should be able to battle it out, and even if you're in a slower car than the guy behind you, you should be able to defend and hold them off.
Yeah.
Not when the guy in the faster car presses a button and gets an even faster car under him. I've always said it's too artificial.
It was good when it was brought in because it was solving the problem of not having any on-track overtakes. If they can do the overtakes without it, then we should be getting rid of it.
And personally, I can't wait to see the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
agree
wonder how
completely.
much of that was down to Abu Dhabi having those two really long straights as well, so allowing cars to slipstream, up close behind each other. But I don't know if you'd be able to do that somewhere else, like Interlagos, for example. You probably wouldn't be so simple without DRS, somewhere like that.
Well, Australia, you can't overtake even with it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's very difficult to.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that the more recent circuits and just about everything in the Tilke era has been designed around having one or two
zone.
deliberate DRS zones on
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, well, the last couple of new circuit designs have had the longer straights, haven't they? Like Abu Dhabi's got a super long straight.
Yeah, Baku,
Baku's got a super long straight.
and that they are both Tilkerized.
Yeah, and Circuit of the Americas, as much as we love it, has a super long back straight.
Yeah. So what's it going to be? Are these circuits going to be outdated as soon as they get rid of DRS?
No, I don't think so, because as I say, the that's what made the overtaking possible.
Because you got the long zone to get your slipstream in.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking more along the lines of somewhere like, put myself on the spot now. Somewhere like Hockenheim might not be easy to pass because of the straight or the DRS zone that they use there. Not really a straight.
No, it's more of a long curve.
Exactly, it's a long curve. So passing might not be so easy at Hockenheim.
It's not on the calendar next year, is it?
Is it not? Is it gone?
No, it
Will it-
isn't.
will it
That's-
be-
That'll make passing there really difficult.
That's
will.
very true.
Quite right. Absolutely.
Will it be back in 2021? Is that where they're...
Nobody,
Or have we lost track
nobody's
with them?
entirely sure. I mean, don't forget, come 2021, we can have up to 25 races. So there's room for 3 new
Hockenheim
ones
and Nürburgring.
or returning ones. But yeah, I'm just not a fan. I want to see what the 2021 regulations actually do when we get to see the cars set up like that.
I think they're keeping DRS, aren't they, for 2021?
Sadly, they are, yeah. But it's going to be this time next year probably before we get to see something that looks like a 2021 car, because they might be running them at the end of season test.
There's a hybrid car, isn't there? That Mercedes are talking about a hybrid 2021 car that's going to be in testing next year.
Yeah, it's a 2019 chassis with some 2021 aero and 18-inch wheels.
Yeah.
So it's going to be...
Is that the one that George Russell drove at the test? Because he's done an extra test since testing last week.
He's done
He
the test
didn't-
with the 18-inch
Yeah,
wheels.
he did a tyre.
Yeah, because Pirelli have had the 18-inch tests
Yeah.
going this last week just before the F2 test.
Yeah, poor George Russell hasn't left Abu Dhabi for like... he's been there for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, but he can afford to be a tax exile there now.
Well, can he?
He's getting paid more as an F1 driver than he was as an F2 driver, sure.
I guess so, yeah, probably.
But yeah, talking about the test, we've got to see Esteban Ocon back in a Formula 1 car.
In a Renault.
Yes.
He's putting in some quite decent times as well, by the looks of it.
Yeah, I think he'll be a good fit in the team.
Depends how
I
many...
can say this now because Lee's not here. And,
It depends how many times he comes together with Danny Ricciardo. If he treats Danny Ricciardo like he treated Sergio Perez, as in like not really giving each
target
other-
practice.
Yeah, well, no, because they weren't all Ocon's fault. A lot of them were racing incidents, but the
Not
amount,
racing point. No.
but you've got to give each other. You got to have respect for each other and give each other room. And when Perez and Ocon were together as teammates at Racing Point, don't feel that
They
were
weren't
doing that.
mates.
As Force India Racing Point. No, they weren't mates. So Ocon's got to make sure that, you know, as easy to please as Danny Ricciardo might be, you can't treat him the same way on the track as maybe he was treating
No.
Sergio Perez, because it won't work much in the same way that treating Perez that way didn't really work. Yeah, he won't be able to bully Ricciardo off the circuit, that's what I'm saying.
No.
No, I mean, going by the start of the season, Ricciardo did it to himself.
Yes.
But more about that next week when we do the season review, because
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what's going to be happening next week. Although Dan, you won't be.
Of some description.
No.
Do we
No,
get the
I'm
Chris,
Chris
Rea-
Rea in
I was
it.
going to say we get the Chris Rea joke in for you now because you will be literally
Driving home for Christmas.
Top to toe in tailbacks.
Quite possibly.
on the road to hell.
Yeah, have you seen the M6?
No, there was too many traffic jams in the way. So yes, the post-season test, George Russell fastest in the Mercedes.
But it's clearly because they gave him a better car than the other drivers, because he's not that much faster than everyone else.
I'm sure he's been top in a couple of tests already, simply because he's in a Mercedes. That's...
Well, no, it's because Mercedes deliberately gave him a faster car.
see.
To
So that
make
they
sure,
could justify hiring him.
Yeah.
I see.
Right.
Of course.
How many conspiracy theories are we going to try and smash tonight? Yeah, give us tinfoils out of 5.
I suppose Latifi's been confirmed since...
Yes,
Latifi
since the
was
last time we
confirmed
podcasted.
during the
Ju-
weekend.
Right at the
Excuse
start
me.
of the weekend. Now, Williams had said that they weren't going to make any decision or weren't going to make any announcements until after the race, hadn't they?
Yeah, but then something else happened.
I think Robert Kubica preempted their decision and told them that he didn't want to race for them anymore.
Was that not announced a couple of months ago? that he
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
be.
Kubica said he was going around.
I think it was like Monza-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was going to say it was around about the end of the European.
Oh, was
season.
it?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
Because he's been like whoring himself out as test driver to like Racing Point and Haas and
At one point,
that style of team.
one point during last weekend, I did see a tweet from Haas, or at least I think I did, because I was full of flu. I might have been hallucinating, that Haas had announced Kubica as their sim driver for next year, and then that was quickly deleted.
Oh.
And there was the stories about him going to Racing Point as their sim driver.
It was the 19th of September Kubica announced he was going to part company with Williams at the end of the season. And he seems to be
right.
implying that it was his decision, which I'm not entirely sold on.
I think it was his sponsor's decision. Because the thing is, his sponsor, Olin, was sponsoring the rear wing, and not many people got to see the rear wing of a Williams because everything was in front of the Williams.
We have cat dramas unfolding.
It's just, I think it's a background sideshow. It's a full drama yet. Oh, it's getting more dramatic.
Oh, yes, we are being invaded by podcats. I mean, I think a sim role is probably the best place for Kubica to go, because I think he's still got the technical nous, but
Just can't race.
he just can't race. And I still say it's not because of the hand. He's just lost his natural speed and the agility that you need to drive a Formula One car because it's so long out of the sport.
I think it's probably played a part in it. It hasn't helped, put it that way.
Well, it won't have helped, but yeah. I mean, you see somebody like Van Dorn or Giovinazzi, who has had a year out of racing and then comes back to F1 and not quite there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
and then you have 8 years out.
Yeah, it's a long time not to be... Okay, I know he did a bit of rallying in the middle, but it's a long time not to be doing any of the open wheel
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, and this is why I think we won't be seeing Alonso back.
I don't think we will either.
No.
He's already... Fernando Alonso's announced he's doing Indy 500 next year.
Oh, has he now confirmed that?
Yeah.
With McLaren?
Yep. As a McLaren entry, he's going to...
Oh, they still love each other.
Yeah. Indy
Well, they've got all those hats and T-shirts that they didn't sell
last year.
last year, so...
Yeah.
Unpick the stitching, get a
Yeah.
different year on there, it'll be fine.
You can change a 19 to a 20, can't you? With a...
Oh, that's more difficult.
Yeah.
Good
18 to a
craftsmanship,
19
which
is
they
not
do
hard.
have at Kimoa, the good best craftsman or some shit, I don't know.
And
Read their blurb.
artisanal hats. But I mean, there was talk all the way through the Abu Dhabi weekend and after at the FIA Awards about Alonso coming back, and Lewis Hamilton dropped a hint about one of the top drivers that was there at the awards went up to Toto Wolff and asked him about a seat in 2021.
Was it Sebastian Buemi?
I don't think it was. So, yeah, it could.
He was
it
a
could-
top driver from F1, didn't he say?
Yeah, a top driver from F1.
Which to me says it's not Alonso because he's not from F1.
I reckon it could be an elaborate double bluff and it was just Bottas. Because he is, after Hamilton, he is the second.
He was second in the World Drivers'
I mean,
Championship.
He was there. He
And
would
probably
be
needs
talking to
know about
Toto.
2021.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
a
we all
valid
know that
question.
Charles Leclerc is worth 19 Fernando Alonso's.
Yeah, and Bottas drove the car into the FIA prize giving
Yeah.
ceremony. It wasn't.
And
you know,
he will have spoken to Toto, you would assume, while he was there.
Yeah, look, I've just had the best season of my life. Sign
It's
me
just
up.
as well it wasn't
Yeah.
Grosjean. He'd just driven it into the podium.
Yeah. Give me a 2-year deal. I've just had the best season ever. My best season ever, not the best season ever. That would be winning everything, surely. Yeah, maybe it is Bottas, but you know, there's team harmony at Mercedes at the moment, though, isn't there? For now.
Yeah, for the time being, there is. And
Don't know if you saw as well. Toto Wolff is now an honorary member of the BRDC.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yes.
Pretty much everyone is an honorary member of the BRDC, are they not?
I think you just turn up at the BRDC after winning a race and you get honorary membership.
He got given the Colin Chapman Award for team bossing, I think.
Team bossing.
Don't know what it's called.
Do they give him a mug that says "World's Greatest Boss"?
Yeah. Yeah. Colin Chapman's no longer here, so you can have the trophy that bears his name.
Yeah, interesting thing about Toto this week, he's now dropping subtle hints about staying at Mercedes.
Because it looked like he might take up a role with the official Formula One.
But it was looking, there was rumours a few weeks ago that he was going to be the next Chase Carey.
Yeah.
Don't know how he'd look with that tash.
No.
Awesome.
I think he would grow a good moustache.
He'd probably been getting tips off of Dieter Zetsche.
There is every chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, now apparently Chase Carey looks like he's going to be staying on for at least another season. Says he doesn't want a long-term deal, but he's happy to have rolling short-term ones. So I just wonder if they'd offered Toto the job and he turned it down.
There was always talk, wasn't there, that Christian Horner was going to replace Bernie Ecclestone when Bernie was still running the sport.
He's not been linked to taking over Carey's role, and that appears to have dropped off. But I think Horner was actually Bernie's choice.
Yeah.
Should he have to step down?
I think so. There were persistent rumours, weren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think about it, it was the ideal one for it. Found out that he wasn't a quick enough driver, so ran a team instead.
Much like Bernie.
Who may or may not have been cheating with aerodynamic regulations and bending the rules. It's all there,
Two Grand Prix entries for Bernie Ecclestone.
but no starts.
I don't think he started any races, no.
No.
Didn't qualify in either of them. Possibly didn't even get in the car at one of them. I think it was Monaco and Silverstone in 1958, I think.
We need Sean for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean was meant to be on the show last week if we'd have recorded it, but
He
Yeah,
would
so
have been-
apologies to Sean.
Yeah.
We were far too ill to even contemplate podcasting.
He would probably have been the only healthy person.
Yes.
right. Moving on, there is some new stuff for 2020 that is happening. It's good to talk about 2020 rather than 2021.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Things that we're actually going to see next time F1 cars are on track, and the checkered flag is back.
the actual...
The actual
physical
physical
checkered
bit of
flag.
cloth that gets waved.
Yeah, not just the printed graphic.
Yeah, so they brought in the digital thing after a cock-up with the physical checkered flag, and then there was a cock-up with the digital checkered flag.
Wasn't that, what's her name? Winnie
Wi-
Harlow.
Winnie Harlow.
Didn't
who-
she wave the
She
flag a
waved
lap
it
early?
early.
Yeah.
She got it given a lap
To
early
be
and told
to be
wave
fair,
it.
Yeah.
she an official handed her a flag. The official probably should have been on that one a bit better.
Yeah.
So F1, in their wisdom, said, right, humans can cock up waving the flag at the right point. Let's use a computer.
And the computer got it wrong. Was it at Abu Dhabi?
No,
No.
it was a few races
Russia.
back.
It
was
was
it?
Mexico.
Was it?
Mexico.
It was Mexico because Perez was classed as 8th, even though
I was
he'd
going
been
to say
wiped
it was
out.
the
Yes.
Perez crash that all got cocked up, where he didn't finish but was ahead of people who did finish, and
Weird.
So they're now bringing the checkered flag back.
But is somebody...
and
Does somebody
hopefully
have
not
the
giving
job?
it to random models and actually giving it to someone who knows what lap it is.
That's what I mean. Like, is it an official title, the flag waver?
You would hope so.
'Cause, I mean, right up until the Winnie Harlow one, it was given to various celebrities.
Yeah.
Did Pele do it wrong? He didn't do it at the right time.
He didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
He didn't wave it until I think 4th or 5th crossed the line.
Yeah. He just
Because he was talking to somebody or trying to sell them Viagra or something.
Oh, is that what it was? I thought he had election problems. Thought Pele was trying to become the president of Brazil.
We don't talk about electile dysfunction here this week.
No, absolutely not.
We'll save that for other people's podcasts.
Yes.
So there is that one. The other rule is testing is now going to be treated like a race weekend and no hiding cars behind screens unless the floor's off
Unless the floor's off.
or
Yes.
the car has been brought back on a flatbed from
Damaged.
damaged from somewhere on the track. So the teams now have to have fully open garages during testing.
That's leaning more towards Formula Chris. Stop hiding shit.
Yeah.
Let everybody see what you're doing. Even submit your blueprints for your car after you've launched it, and then everyone can see what you've submitted.
Though I hope they don't ban the Red Bull funny paint designs.
No, they should.
'Cause they are
yeah,
fun.
like the old naval sort of.
All
What's
the
it-
crisscrossy stuff.
Yeah, kind of naval camouflage. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just designed to screw up photographers.
yeah. But it was for the naval ones, it was originally designed to confuse torpedo fires from submarines because it broke up.
Yeah, but for anyone that isn't a Toro Rosso, it's designed to confuse torpedoes, so you don't know what you're running into.
He wouldn't have seen it anyway.
No, that's true. Yeah, I think that is a good idea. Plus, all 6 days of testing are going to be live on TV in 2020. They've announced that they're going to be doing both sessions. So we'll actually, if we're watching it on TV, we'll actually get to see what's going on in the garages as well.
Hashtag where's Ted?
Ted will
Not
be there
all
because
that again.
apparently, again, it's a joint F1 and Sky production.
Right, okay.
So whoever Ted's working for, or both of them,
Well, both Teds?
but
I think Ted has multiple owners, doesn't he?
Yeah.
yeah, because he's been working for F1 as well as for Sky. But yeah, Ted will be there and will be on Sky TV and F1 TV,
Yeah.
even though we still can't watch F1 TV over here.
We can, just not...
Legally.
Yeah, just not anything that's happened in the last year.
Yeah, it'd be good to watch testing because I think they're doing it the same way that they did for the 2019 pre-season tests, where F1 TV gets it all day, but Sky just get it in the afternoon.
To be fair, you do get long periods of no cars on track during testing.
But they had about 20 different people in the commentary box. And watching it last year, it was like a long-form version of proper F1 respected people and journalists and Craig Slater doing this kind of thing.
It's like Test Match Special,
Yeah.
but with Formula 1.
I think they were even talking about cake at one point.
Did anyone see in the post Abu Dhabi test that Perez and Vettel collided?
Yes.
Oh, yes!
You're not supposed to collide during a test.
No.
No, apparently it looked like Perez actually shoved Vettel off.
Bit of a... Yeah. Bit of a daring dive down the inside at the end of one of the straights and then, yes, unsurprisingly put Vettel into a spin.
God, we've never seen that before.
No.
So it looks like the Winter Championship has started early.
Yeah, well, has it? That's the thing.
Well, no, Ferrari weren't fastest. So.
No.
And the other thing for next year, with 22 races, all the teams are allowed an extra MG UK.
Ooh.
Well, you say there's 22 races.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the moment, 22 races, asterisk.
Am I messing up the running order here?
Not really.
We can chop and change. It's fine.
Go
So,
on, Dan.
Today, as we're recording this, the World Anti-Doping
Association.
Authority.
Association, one of the two.
Association? Authority?
People.
WADA.
WADA, the World Anti-Doping folks, have announced that Russia are being banned from hosting major events
And taking part.
and taking part in major events with the M and the E in capitals there, because major events means something specific.
Major events.
Thank you. The FIA being one of the signatories to the World Anti-Doping
People.
Association
Let's go
Programme.
authority, because I think that's correct.
Authority,
I don't
programme.
think association is right.
are defined as being one of the people who host.
Agency. I've just looked it up.
Agency.
Oh,
Agency.
fucking hell.
Hadn't thought of
We
that one.
didn't. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
not mooted.
But yes, FIA World Championship events are defined as major events.
Major events.
And so those are banned from new ones being held in Russia, and existing ones have to be moved unless it's kind of difficult and you don't want to.
So how difficult and we don't want to is that applies to the Russian Grand Prix in Sochi.
The organisers of the Russian Grand Prix say it's definitely going ahead, and they have a cast iron contract that the FIA can't get out of. But they would say that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course they would. Also, when it comes to Russian athletes, those who've not been caught up in doping scandals are allowed to take part in major events.
I'm not doing it again.
But they have to compete under a neutral flag because they're not allowed to represent Russia.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's not just that they haven't been caught up in doping as well. I think they have to prove that they are not receiving any support directly from the state. So in
Got you.
terms of sponsorship, they can't be sponsored by anyone who is publicly owned. A company
Right.
in Russia, anything like that.
Which might cause problems for one Danny Kvyat.
Or
as
I
an-
think anyone with maybe SMP sponsorship.
Yes, yeah.
Which is half the F2 and F3 grids.
But F2 and F3
Are
are
not
not
major
world
events.
championships, so aren't major events. So don't fall under these rules.
But Formula One does have occasional testing events, doesn't it, for doping, anti-doping?
Yes.
Yeah,
And is
with F1 being a signatory to the World Anti-Doping Agency, they have to abide by its rules, so it's in competition and out of competition tests for participants.
Yeah.
So the top three have to pee in a cup, and so do other random drivers during the weekend and outside of race weeks.
Which means Kvyat will have peed in a cup at least once this year.
Yes.
Even if he's not been called for a random
Probably
test.
definitely after Germany.
Yeah.
He finished top three. He would have
Yeah,
had to have
he
done.
will
Yes.
have had to have done a test.
I think that is the standard for every individual sport. The top three had to, plus
And randoms.
a couple of other random
Yeah.
ones, and you can be contacted at a random time out of competition to be tested. So I mean, at the moment, the Russian Grand Prix organisers are saying they have the contract and it's hard to get out of it, which would mean that they are allowed to host the Russian Grand Prix in 2020 because the calendar has already been set.
It's probably just going to need lawyers to look over what the contract says, and we're not going to hear anything until they've done that.
Until
Yeah.
they move the Russian Grand Prix to Uzbekistan or somewhere similar.
You know, you could still have a Russian Grand Prix in a different country, or you could have a Grand Prix in Sochi and call it the
Sochi Grand Prix.
Belarusian Grand Prix.
Yeah, Belarusian
Yeah.
Grand Prix.
You know, it's like San Marino doesn't have a Formula One circuit.
No, Imola is in Italy.
Yeah, Luxembourg doesn't have an F1 circuit.
No, but the
What
Nürburgring
is
held the...
what is the MotoGP San Marino Grand Prix? That's got a fucking ridiculous name, hasn't it? Like San Marino and Rimini Coast something or other.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Mugello, isn't it?
Yes.
The thing which
I
does
think.
seem clear from what today's ruling said is Russian government officials are not allowed at major events.
Also, there's no Russian national anthem is to be played. Now, remember that the Russians invented the Putin Parade, which is now which is the name we've given to where the drivers line up at the front of the grid, and pay homage to the national anthem of the country they're racing in. Now, under
Chris, any
these,
chance you could talk into your microphone rather than to the side of it?
sorry, under the rules that have been set out today, they're not allowed. They won't be allowed to do that.
No,
Because, and there will be no Russian flag either, because that's also not allowed. Which makes me wonder, A, what's going to be on Danny Kvyat's car if he's not allowed the Russian flag, and B,
Torpedo.
possibly, if he betters his German result in 2020 and wins a race, what flag and what anthem are they going to play?
I reckon he should
Or
be allowed
does-
to pick his own.
Or does he switch countries just for a season until he's allowed to go back to Russia?
I don't
I
think
think-
he'll switch countries because FIA rules are that in Formula One, and it's different for the lower formulas, in Formula One you have to race under the flag of your passport. So if he wants to race as a different country, as representing a different country, he has to have a passport from that country, and that's quite a big deal in some cases. I don't know what the rules around Russian passports are if you've got dual citizenship,
Yeah.
but it may not just be a case of, oh, I live in Monaco, I may as well get one of their passports.
Yeah, I know that former Portsmouth owner Sasha Gaidamak had joint Russian and French nationalities. But again, does Danny Kvyat have any French connection?
Well, he lives in Monaco, so it could be possible for him to get Monegasque citizenship.
But would he
Perhaps.
want to?
Is
Is it worth it?
That's the other question, because he comes across as being proud to be Russian.
Yeah.
I think if there's no issue whatsoever in him being an independent athlete, then I think for the extra faff it would be to go through dicking about getting the passport just so you can have the Monegasque national anthem. I think he'd probably just be an independent.
With no
Pick
national
your own
anthem.
song.
Well,
I
what-
reckon.
What,
Pick-
happened?
if you're
What happened in
independent-
the what happened in previous Olympics when people haven't represented their own countries? Is
Rio
the,
being the most
yeah,
recent
the
one.
Olympic flag goes up and the Olympic anthem gets played. So
I mean,
if
F1
Kvyat
has
was
an
to
anthem.
win a race, would you get the F1 flag or the F1 logo where
And
the
the
Russian
chain.
flag would be?
Yeah, the chain. Yeah.
Play the chain or the shitty flute version of the F1 theme. I'll share a link to that one,
Yeah, it's funny.
especially over the Mercedes Germany pit stop. So yeah, it's going to be confusing. Now, Autosport have looked into this. They've been in touch with the Russian Grand Prix organisers, the FIA and F1 for clarification on it, and this only came out today, so I think F1 are still working out and the FIA are still working out.
It's
what-
going to take 2 weeks of lawyers looking at
what the
contracts.
hell do we do? And this is going to be something that I think drags on over the winter. I think it's going to take more than 2 weeks. Once lawyers get involved, don't forget, they bill by the second.
Especially in cases like this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it will be like a Danny Kvyat lawyer, an F1 lawyer, a Russian Grand Prix lawyer, a Russian Federation lawyer, an AlphaTauri lawyer.
They're not AlphaTauri officially until March.
When they start talking about F1 2020, it may be an AlphaTauri one.
That is true. Still no word on them officially changing the name, but they've asked it to. But we've got to wait until the official entry list gets published,
This is
which
true.
is usually around about the end of January.
Like, yes, that would sound about right.
Yeah, it's usually sort of
Just before testing, isn't it?
couple
Yeah.
of weeks before testing, which we won't be in Barcelona for,
No.
because we're planning on going to Barcelona for a week, and we saw how much it would cost to go during the testing week and how little it would cost in comparison to go the week before.
The problem is the week of testing. It's testing and World Mobile Congress and some festival, and it's a Champions League week, so Barcelona might have a match. So there's like a lot going on that
Oh,
week.
I'll see if I can get sent to World Mobile Congress.
Because they always used to try and coincide it with like Alonso launching something from Movistar, didn't they? And he would like nip down in between testing sessions.
Now it's going to be Alonso launching a mobile hat.
Could be signs. They might get signs to launch a mobile.
Yeah, could be.
A chocolate mobile.
Maybe.
Husky chocolate phone. Going back to F1, real stuff. The Vietnam circuit is having an extra corner.
Yes, so they're having some work done to it at the moment. There've been lots of pictures of it, and from the original design, they've decided to stick in an extra corner.
But
just moving back to the Kvyat thing.
Just
I know
one
we don't
extra corner.
normally do YouTube comments on here, but none of us thought of it. And thank you, Jana, for pointing this out. He could come from Rosbergia.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he could. Yes, Finland, Monaco, and Germany.
And with a little bit of Italy thrown in for good measure.
Yes.
So, back to Vietnam.
Yeah. So there's a lot of tinkering going on to get the sort of the general layout of the track ready, and they've decided to stick in an extra bit.
now,
So-
if I remember my geography, or what's the maths thing? Trigonometry.
Okay.
That's it. If you have something where all the lines join up and you add an extra corner in, the lines won't all join up.
Yes, I
Yeah,
do
I'm
know what
not-
you mean. You kind of have to have two extra corners.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where they've added in the extra corner, but it is there apparently.
In the middle of the start-finish straight, turn right.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It has to be a kink or at least two corners. You can't just have one. Because with one extra corner, you are just going to not, as
It
Dan,
stops it being a circuit.
as Dan rightfully points out, is then not a circuit.
You should take this up with Herman Tilke.
I never actually thought of it like that.
Yeah, they've added an extra corner.
Just one.
Just one. And then I'm not logged into my fucking Autosport, so it's telling me I've had my articles for this month, even though I have got a login.
While we're on that, finally seeing what they're doing with the banking at Zandvoort, and that looks terrifying. It does look steeper than Indy.
That is
Yeah?
apparently all to do with Charlie Whiting. Apparently, that was one of the last things one of his last actions in F1 was to sign off on that.
Wow.
Last action, Charlie.
So
Make the banking at Zandvoort a lot more bankier.
yeah, it's going to be possibly the highest thing in the Netherlands.
Sounds unlikely.
Physically highest.
There are some British students in Amsterdam.
Who have just fallen asleep in their shits.
Slightly wrong choice of words there.
Yes.
It's going to be the tallest thing in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Yes. So apparently, going back to Vietnam, there's been a tweak in the final section. This is from Autosport. After turn 22, which was going to be the last turn, they've done a little tweak, and there's now a turn 23.
I'm still with Dan on this
Yeah.
one. You also need a
this
turn
is what
24.
the people
otherwise.
say.
So the Tilke circuit that nobody's raced on yet has been re-tilkered.
Yeah, and then there's a picture of some bulldozers. So he might have just taken a house down or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've seen the rendering of the onboard for Vietnam, and
It looks rubbish.
it looks like Sochi.
That's what I mean. I was literally just about to say, it doesn't matter if we lose Sochi because Vietnam.
Yay!
Also, it's a very strange May for the calendar next year. It's Vietnam. Is it Vietnam, Spain? Oh no, Zandvoort,
Zandvoort
Spain.
and Vietnam are both early. I think they're both before Spain.
Yeah. So is it Vietnam, Zandvoort, Spain, Monaco?
Something like that, yes.
So that's going to make
Baku,
Zandvoort.
Canada, Baku.
Something like that.
That will make Zandvoort start of the European season.
Yes.
Yes.
Bit weird.
Very weird.
Zandvoort is on the calendar. That is weird by recent standards.
Yeah, like I say, I utterly remain to be convinced. What have we got on here next? Oh yes, Nick Chester has left Renault as part of their ongoing massive bloody clear out, and I didn't realise exactly how long he'd been there.
Senior figure at Renault, or the Enstone team.
Yeah, he's been there since Benetton.
Yeah. Which is
very
early
senior.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think it was 2000 that he joined.
was it?
I think it was turn of the millennium, I think
Yeah.
I read, yeah.
So some might say 2000, some might say 2001.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Renault are really clearing the decks, but bringing in other people. I'm having to talk above a cat ripping a cardboard box to shreds here. Do we think this is all part of their long-term, actually, we're going to stay in Formula One for a bit longer than normal strategy this time?
I mean, after this year,
Or
it's
is it
not...
they're getting rid of long-term staff so that when they do bail out after 2 years, the redundancy payments are a lot lower?
It's not shocking, really, after the year they've had, that they might want to look at making some changes.
True.
And he's chassis, isn't he?
Yeah.
And we've seen in the McLaren that engine has potential.
When it's in a chassis.
When it's in a
carry
chassis
it.
that works.
It was the best of the rest.
Yeah.
That the engine powered the best of the rest.
So McLaren have done something better with their chassis than Renault.
Yeah. So, I don't think I actually saw who is replacing him.
Don't know if they've named a name.
I was going to say if they've not actually made an announcement yet, but I think this is kind of giving Renault a bit of a future.
Do we think Bruno's adding an extra corner to this box?
Uh,
There are now 5 corners in that box. Yet it's...
And it's shortly not going to join up, proving my theory.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all laughing at you, Bruno.
Yeah, he doesn't bother. He's just going to sit there and chew cardboard.
Well, he doesn't chew it, he just rips it
He
apart.
rips it out and then spits it and gets another bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, the camera's not actually picking...
Oh, I'm sure the microphones are.
Well, the
though.
microphones will be picking that up. What else have we got? While we're on the subject of sort of circuit changes and things, Paul Ricard is looking at changing the layout.
Good.
Bin it and start again.
Yes.
There are, 130 different configurations that circuit can be in.
One of them must be interesting.
It's
That's the thing.
gotta
I don't
be.
know whether they mean they're going to make actual layout changes physically, or if they're just looking at using a different configuration.
Stick some cones in places where there weren't and make them take
Yeah.
a different corner.
Do that on
add-
every lap.
Or
Yeah.
maybe add an extra corner.
Do you know what? That would be a great race. Different lap every race. Every lap.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something there, Dan.
Yeah, 130 for configurations. You
Yeah.
need to use half of them.
Yeah.
But they need to do something with it. I mean, Chris, your theory about the fact that it's been completely redesigned as a test track,
Well, it has been, basically,
and
yeah.
it just takes all the racing away because it's there for cars to run at what they can run, and it means the fastest cars finish at the front, the slowest cars finish at the back.
And nothing else happens.
No driver skill is involved because your car is not fast enough to get past the one in front or hold off the one behind.
I give Bruno evils for ripping up boxes mid-pod.
This is the downside of recording here. The podcasts have got a lot more access.
We don't have the same segregation options as the usual podcast room.
But I mean, the French Grand Prix this year was the most boring race in a long time.
By far. Mm-hmm. And it's good for the French Grand Prix authority to look at it and think, well, maybe we should do something about it. Switch it up a little bit. Do they need to remodel any parts of the circuit? I think they need to get rid of those stupid blue runoff areas for a start. Put some grass down.
The tyre shredders.
Put some grass down.
Also, get rid of the monkey trophy. It was funny the first year. The second year, it's just like, oh, seriously.
Or at least bring in a different animal.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe one year
Is it
King Kong, the next year the Empire State Building, the year after some planes.
This is like some kind of
Giant
collectible
butterfly.
series. Part 1, $1.99. Rest of issues, $9.99. One of those kind of collectible
Yeah,
series.
I think winning a race in Formula One costs quite a lot
think
more
it does.
than that.
I think it. What is it? €2,000 per championship point.
Something like that. In fact, I did see...
Wow, Williams put €2,000 into this year.
Yeah. That is just like, I think the fee that goes to the driver has to pay, or I don't know. There's some shit on top of obviously all your other entry fees and construction costs.
The teams have to pay it as well on top of the driver because the drivers pay for their own super license every year.
Because it's like Mercedes have the highest entry fee ever or something for next year because they were so ridiculously many points this year.
Because Mercedes scored 739 points, the team entry fee is $4.9 million.
Damn.
Oh dear.
That's just from the points. The total fee with the standard entry fee, which every team has to pay, is $5,490,812.
The 10 million before you even turn a wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the drivers have to pay their own super license charges as well. So Lewis Hamilton will have to pay an absolutely huge amount for the privilege of racing next year.
I'm sure he'll be able to find the money somewhere.
He sold his plane.
True.
I think so, yeah.
It's $5,563 per point.
Is it? Bloody hell, that's
that the
gone
teams
up a bit.
pay.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Didn't ask you, love.
Well, we knew. So I've got it written down in front of me. Yeah, so Williams only have to pay for Kubica's point. So it's 1/793rd of Mercedes' cost.
So they're making savings, basically.
Yeah, George
Yeah.
Russell is a bargain then, isn't he?
But it's only because he's in that faster car.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Right. So the way that it works is it costs $556,000 to enter. The reigning champions have to pay $6,677 per point, and all the other 9 teams have to pay $5,563. So you actually get penalised for winning. So the prize money that you get for winning just goes to pay next year's entry.
I don't disagree with that to a certain extent. Penalising the winners. Do you remember when British touring cars started weighing down the winning cars?
Yeah, but that
Adding
makes sense because
weight.
it puts the pack closer together.
They still do it now. I was watching a BTTC race towards the end of the season.
I
It was
haven't
like a
watched
triple
touring
header.
cars for years.
And there's three races in one day, and they were giving the ballast details on the second and third races, depending on where they'd finished in the first one.
I
Yeah.
think they do it in some of the GT classes in World Endurance as well. I think if someone is found to have an excessive advantage over another car in their class, they get like a breeze block in the boot or something. I don't know.
Yeah, is it 25 kilos they were adding to
Something like that, yeah.
the touring cars?
And of course, WEC have now got the power balancing rules, so that somebody that isn't Toyota can actually win in LMP1,
That seems fairer.
which now has happened. So the world's biggest Prius is now beatable.
Yes. It's only because Alonso's not there anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, he's only a 17th of the driver Charles Leclerc is. Do we have anything else? 'Cause I think that's probably about covered everything that we've got on the
I
on
think
the running
so.
order.
We're doing a season review next week.
We'll do the season
Yeah.
review next week.
Just
Dan,
jump-
if you want to give us your thoughts before you disappear, and we'll add them in.
If I have a thought before then, I will let you know.
Because we only decided we were doing this show this afternoon. Because at one point we weren't entirely sure when we were going to be recording.
We are super organised.
Flu, Christmas, band stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess it's probably time to do a total shunt.
Think so.
Well, yeah.
Right, I will find one because I have some on here. And this is from, I've had this since March, this is from, I love this name, Quinn C. Knudsen.
Yes.
Quinn
C.
C initial.
Knudsen.
Knudsen.
Quality
But not
name.
Quincy.
Not Quincy, Quinn C.
I do
Quinn
get like a
Knudsen.
lawyer vibe off the name. I like it.
Maybe it's because it sounds like a bit like a local lawyer's.
No, I don't think it does. Oh, I know the one you mean now. Yeah, yeah.
The one with Quinn in there.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's the one,
yeah.
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 So, I was born
Good.
in 1974.
Okay, so
Right.
some years old.
You're not doing maths tonight.
45?
45 this year.
45 and 46 next year. I made my debut in motorsport in 1995.
Okay.
So age
21.
21.
I won the Race of Champions 3 times. And I will need a guess.
Sounds like somebody who might have done rallying.
Rallying or some obviously not probably an F1
Unlikely, but possible. Could have been, somebody who was around for a season or so.
or a manufacturer.
Yeah. Quite possibly manufacturer. The manufacturers tend not to win Race of Champions, do they,
yeah.
really?
That's true.
It's countries.
Yeah.
Or
Could
drivers.
Could it be a country? New countries are popping up every day.
I am Ross Bergier. So can I have a guess?
Oh God.
40-something years old.
Dan, stop Googling.
I am working, I'm afraid.
Dan has received communication from the
Yeah.
outside world.
Save those kittens.
Oh, dear.
Or do you want to bin this guess off?
I have nothing sensible to
No.
contribute.
How about Petter Solberg,
Yeah, that'll do.
About the right age, actually.
roughly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
First guess, Peter Solberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know that he's won Race of Champions 3 times.
He's been in it a lot, hasn't he? Because
Yeah.
he has like a flashy animal overall.
Yes.
Right. My first test in Formula One was in 2007.
It is not Petter Solberg.
Interesting.
2007. That's quite...
That's quite
Recent.
late
Mm,
for someone who's 45.
So that's someone who would have been. Oh fuck me, the maths.
Didn't
33.
Andre Lotterer make his Formula 1 debut very late on, like in a
Might be
Caterham.
about the right kind of age. Did he
Yeah.
do one race when someone
I think
was
he
it
did a Belgian.
Grosjean was banned or
No, I think it was Kobayashi. I think he just took Kobayashi's seat at Caterham for a race.
And then they offered him another race, and
He said, "No, thanks."
No, your car's shit.
yeah, reasonable. Yeah, that's a sensible thought.
Okay. My first world championship was in WRC.
So somebody who's done Formula 1 and World Rally Championship. This is a rare breed of person.
Or a Finn.
Raikkonen's not quite old enough.
No.
I'm just trying to understand that question. My first world championship was in WRC.
Yes.
So,
I'm only going as written.
so WRC is a world championship,
Yeah.
as is Formula One. Mm-hmm. But does that mean this person is a world champion?
Yeah, because they tested Formula One in 2007, but that might have been like, you're a world rally champion, come and drive our car.
Yeah.
Did Sebastian Loeb do some F1 testing?
He's about the right age.
Because he had a
Oh, is
lot
he?
of Red Bull sponsorship, so would he have maybe popped
Yeah.
up in a Toro Rosso for a bit of fannying
Possibly,
about?
yeah.
Yeah,
Because they do that, don't they? Marc Marquez did one, Rossi's done one.
Jorge Lorenzo
Jorge
did.
Lorenzo, I think, has turned
Mercedes.
up in. Yes.
Next clue. You're saying it's a rare kind of person. I won 5 gold medals in gymnastics at the French Nationals.
Oh, hell. So French nationals would be Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah, you would
if
think
we're-
so,
if
wouldn't
we're
you?
looking at a French.
Yeah.
Is he a gymnast?
I don't know. I suppose it would help you get out of
Sebastian-
a rolled the rally car, wouldn't it?
Sebastian Ogier is young, isn't he?
I think
Still
he's
too
a little
young.
bit younger, yeah.
So we'll need a guess here.
Should we go with Sebastian Loeb?
I have
Sebastian
nothing-
Loeb's probably about the right age.
He's not long, sort of. stepped
retired,
back, has
isn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, but he's got no more to do, has he? Really?
No, he
He's
won
done
everything like 10 times. It's Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah.
Okay. I won a world championship by 56 points.
Yeah, he did smash the shit out of some of his championships, didn't he? That would be
Yeah.
a good gap.
Totally.
I came second at the 24-hour of... Do I say it like Lee says it, or says it properly? Say it
Le
properly?
Mans.
Le Mans.
Mans.
Lee Mans.
Le Mans in 2006.
2006.
Would still have been an active rally driver then.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
Okay. In one of my series, my average win rate was 45% over 174 races.
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything to sort of punt me elsewhere at the
No.
minute.
Though, how many races do they have in WRC?
They do like 11 a
I was
year,
gonna say
11 or 12 a year.
rounds a year, yeah. Obviously, they have multiple stages within that, but...
Yeah, I'm just thinking 145 races sounds quite a lot.
174.
Sorry, 174 sounds even more.
Yeah,
It's accurate, I'm not going to lie.
yeah, it could be.
I was made Knight of the Légion d'honneur by French President Nicolas Sarkozy in 2009. He got cozy with Sarkozy.
That's what I always think of with Nicolas Sarkozy.
There is a spaffer should it be required.
In 2009, this is roughly the
That would be
roughly
around about kind of the kind of ending of the peak.
Yeah, that when Citroen decided they were going to release the C4 by Loeb.
Yes.
I was like, what? Hang on a second, you give me a family car that's apparently by a World Rally Champion.
For when you've really quickly got to nip out for some emergency Calpol.
That's it.
There is a spaffer if you want it.
Yeah. Do
You
we?
may as well,
Yeah,
why not?
right,
Yeah.
Someone's taking the time.
We're not confident, are we?
No.
I won 9 WRC World Championships on the trot.
Still
This is-
sounds like
this
Sebastian
does sound
Loeb.
like Sebastian Loeb.
Yeah, we'll go with Sebastian Loeb then.
I am Sebastian Loeb.
Good.
So thank you to
That
Quincy
works.
Knudsen, or Quincy Knudsen, for sending that in 13th of March. If you want to get a total shunt into us, you can send it on direct message on Twitter or Instagram to Lee at a total shunt
And wait 9 months.
and wait 9 months. Or you can send it to me, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com, and wait until Lee's sick or doing a band practice or something.
If you have a really difficult to pronounce name, please send it to Lee.
For a little
What, like
bonus
John
challenge. And don't send him any pronunciation guide either. Let him figure it out for himself.
Or if it's something horrendously Finnish, then send audio, like Santeri did.
Yeah, that was good.
You can get hold of the rest of us at 3 Legs 4 Wheels on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and individually we are
At Flood 21.
At Sean Camper.
Dan Dankleton.
and at Pablo 100. We're going to do the big Formula Lee reveal next week with the final times and the prize giving. Well, there isn't a prize, but the top of the leaderboard. And we'll also have the final results of the prediction competition for all the listeners and for us lot on the podcast, see how well we did against all the guests.
I think average. Distinctly average.
Yes.
I don't think any of us in this room were top, and I don't think Lee won either.
Guests won.
I think the collective hive mind beat us.
Yes.
But we'll have to do that one again next season. Right, so we'll be back next week with a season review and anything else that comes up and a bit of a Christmas special. And we'll hopefully be able to live stream the Patreon show next week. If you want to help us out on Patreon, then just go to patreon.com/3legs4wheels.
We still did a Patreon podcast.
There is still a Patreon podcast for everyone to listen to this week. We just couldn't get it sorted out on video in time because lights and cables and stuff.
And
Cats.
different location.
And different location and many cats and complicated tripods. And we're actually powering the camera and one of the lights off a PlayStation.
It
It
works.
works.
It
doesn't
works.
Yeah, that literally it works. Yeah.
And the other light is being powered from some adapter that Amazon sent me by mistake that I didn't order. I'll explain later. If you're on
It's probably
YouTube,
best not to explain on the thing, to be
if
fair.
you're on YouTube, stick around and we'll do the usual sort of chat afterwards.
Yep.
If you're listening to this on audio, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
We will indeed.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.